The word patent is every entrepreneur's worst nightmare if you're on the wrong side of it. And I know this firsthand. The letter I received wasn't a compliment, wasn't congratulating me on my sales, but was demanding that I cease all sales immediately from a company that owned this patent. And to my surprise, I had believed that there was no patent on this product, as I confirmed with my supplier that there wasn't a patent on the product. This patent was a utility patent, which meant the internal components of the product were covered under this patent, even if the outside design was different. A utility patent will trump a design patent. A utility patent deals with the specifics and internal mechanisms of a specific unit or component in a product. So for this, it was the internal spinning and non-tangle mechanism inside Leash 1, the exact thing that I thought wasn't patent. Now in that moment, everything froze. The money, sales, income, advertising, everything. I felt the air leave my chest as I realized I would have to stop selling or risk a lawsuit that could potentially financially destroy me, which is something I couldn't afford. I sat at my desk with this email in front of me and this letter in hand for hours, wondering what could the possible solution be. At this point, my mind was racing with 100 different thoughts on how to overcome this, change something, or prove that this wasn't patented. But as I dug deeper and deeper into the product in the patent itself, I realized that this in fact was covered under the patent, which only left me with one option: reach out to the patent owner and try to come up with a resolution on my own. The language was harsh, covering specific details that I knew were similar in my patent. So I had to reach out to the owner and call and find out if I was able to make some sort of resolution happen so that I didn't lose everything that I just worked for. All of the money, the time, the branding that I put in to this project. And to my surprise, he picked up. We talked for about 5 minutes. I introduced myself, who I was, what I was doing, and the situation that I was currently in. Now, during that first call, this individual seemed like they would be willing to work with me, at least from some way or the other, whether it was leasing the patent out to me, allowing me to sell X amount of units, or even buying different amounts of stock. It sounded like there was a potential resolution in this field. So much so that I even drafted up a letter back with multiple different resolutions that we could pursue. Ones that I believed were fair, that would also benefit them so that they wouldn't be losing out on money. I reached back out to the owner of the patent. No answer. And then finally, a week later, I got a call back and it was from him. Now I was nervous, wondering if any of these solutions were going to work. And of course, the worst answer I possibly could have heard is what I got. Basically, the email I got back along with the phone call basically told me that none of these options are going to work for them, and that if I didn't have enough capital to either buy out their patent in full, which they valued over $1 million, and for a startup, I don't have that type of money, or I have to cease my sales and eat all my costs. Basically, this individual thought of it as a learning lesson for me. Hey, you created this. I understand it's not the end of the road for you, but guess what? You can't sell this product anymore. Now that really stinks and leaves a bad taste in my mouth, especially from the fact that I created so many different opportunities for us to work collaboratively together to make something work. And at the end of the day, I get an answer that wasn't even remotely close to something I can even work with. So here I am now, sitting, can't sell this leash. I have to eat all of the costs from the first one. All $8,000 of unit costs, all of the Amazon warehouse fees, the FBA fees that I sent to them, all of that cost was down the drain, which amounted to about $12,000 by the end of it. Now from here, I have two options where I can go. I can sit back and say, all right, didn't work out. I'm done with the leash. I don't need it anymore. Or I can take the route that I am on right now and say, you know what? That leash wasn't very good to begin with. I can make an even better leash for a better price and have better features. So I thought to myself, how would I be able to do this? So I started assembling the Avengers of engineers, a new supplier, designers, and graphic artists to create the new Astro 360 leash that is 10 times better than the old one, removes all of the flaws, and should sell way better than Model 1. And on top of this, I applied for my very own patent because our internal mechanism is different and operates in a different manner than Model 1, allowing us to sell and patent this specific product so that we have no future legal objections, which allows us to own the entire rights for 20 years. Now that is where we are with the patent problem. Instead of letting myself get tore apart a patent problem, I decided that if you aren't gonna work with me, then my new leash is just gonna put you out of business. Then you're really gonna know who can do something. And let's call our leash guy Mr. W. If you're watching this, just know you had the opportunity to prevent all of this with just agreeing to one of the terms that I presented. Instead, you left me high and dry, and here we are with a lifelong competition for your company that isn't going anywhere soon. So good luck, you're going to need it. So just like that, I applied for my very own patent, which is still in the approval process, but was able to be filed successfully. Once it is approved, I will let you know for sure, and you'll see the result. But even with all this protection, I still didn't have a leash in my hands, especially not the new one that we drafted up. I needed a supplier, and a good one. Not only a good one, a trustworthy one at best, because my first one lied to me. I needed a partner, a supplier that would be able to help bring this idea to life, make it something that everyone would be able to use, and make it perfect. So I decided, time to find a new supplier.